Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday. I am so excited to be coming to you live today to share this information. Let me know if you're here, say hi, and let me know if you're here catching the replay too. So I had a really interesting conversation with a friend of mine this morning. I'm going to bring up the comments here. And let's all pray that Mercury cooperates with us, right? So anyway, I was having a really great conversation with an old friend of mine this morning. Literally, I've known her since I was 6 years old. And we were talking about human design, obviously. And so apparently she has fallen down. Hi, Jennifer. Apparently she's fallen down the human design rabbit hole too, which is really fun. It's always exciting for me when people that I've known for a long, long time, jump into this too, and we get to start having more human design conversations. And so as we were unfolding and talking about herself and her family, and she was looking up some things, she was talking about how important this information is for people who are in relationships. And I told her, I was like, in my years of using this as a tool and as a language, we've saved marriages, and not just marriages, but we've allowed people to create more peaceful co-parenting relationships. And we have facilitated better relationships and better business partnerships, And so I wanted to come and share this with you today because I know I do share a lot about me and my daughter, for example, and how I parent by design. And so I wanted to share with you today about how I create better relationships by design, and how especially my boyfriend and I we're about to celebrate our 2-year anniversary on Monday. And because I am who I am, we've had our human designs from the beginning of our relationship. From 20 minutes into our first conversation, I had his human design. And so this has been a tool that we've used over the last 2 years. And I really, I can hypothesize about what our relationship might be like if we didn't have human design, but I want to share with you a little bit about why it's been so helpful. And so I'm going to share my screen with you. So let me know if you are here. Let me know if you've ever, if you've looked into your human design, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being, absolutely nothing, like what the heck is this? And 10 being you're an expert like me, where would you put yourself on that number line? And there's no judgment, right? Just want to know how to speak to you guys best who are here live. And if you do want to catch me live, if you are someone who's catching the replay or watching this on YouTube, come join me on Facebook. I do these lives almost every day. So, all right. So what I want to share with you today is a little bit about one of the number one questions I get. I get a handful of questions repetitively. One of them is about the arrows, which I talked about a little bit earlier this week. And one of them is about how I manage relationships as an emotional authority with the emotional empaths in my life. And so I also want to give you, if you're someone who's a little bit lower on that number scale and you don't know what you're looking at, how you can quickly look at your design and say, oh, yes, I am an emotional authority, or, oh, yes, I am an emotional empath. And I am literally empathic to receiving the emotional frequency of other people. And innately, you probably know if you're an emotional authority or not. I am an emotional authority. I have a lot of feelings. I used to come with a disclaimer. When I would meet new people, I would tell them, hey, if you are hanging out with me for longer than 10 minutes, you're probably going to see me cry. You don't need to do anything about it. I just have a lot of feelings. This pre-human design knowledge, obviously, I've learned to manage them in a much healthier way. But yeah, I have a lot of feelings. So my boyfriend, on the other hand, here he is. You see this center here, this is the emotional center, the solar plexus, and his is what we call wide open, right? Because, we're in the spleen over here. It is still open because it's a white center. He has a couple of these numbers lit up, right? Where over here, there's nothing going on. So he is what we call, a full emotional empath, that he's totally wide open. So what does that mean? What does that mean in our real life? Okay, well, this translates to him coming home from work. I'm in a low, right? Because as an emotional authority, you live almost like you're on a never-ending like boat ride. Okay, you're always on a sea of emotions, and sometimes you're up, and sometimes you're down, and sometimes the sea is more still. And so, as an emotional authority, my job is to notice where I am in that still part of the sea, because that is the safe place for me to make decisions. That's what the authority is all about. And if you do have the emotional center defined, you are an emotional authority. It overrides all the other centers. So that, you experience big feelings and it clouds your perception, right? And so if you're in a high, you're too excited about things, it's not a good time to make a new decision. If you're in a low, oh, it's so good to see you, Carrie. Enjoy the replay. And so if you're on a low, right, also not a good time to make decisions because your perception of reality is not true because you're in a low, right? So my job as an emotional authority is to understand where I'm at in neutral so that I can make my decisions there, but also to know when I'm in those highs or lows so that I can communicate them, okay, with the emotionally open people in my life, like my boyfriend. So, for example, if I find myself in a low part of this wave, in a low part of the frequency, and I'm not feeling so great about myself or just about life or whatever, it's not always related to anything. And, I could talk about that for days, just managing a healthy emotional authority, but in the context of how to manage that among, open people, have healthy relationships as an emotional authority, it comes down to really recognizing where you're at. So just observing, okay, am I neutral? Am I high? Or am I low? And being able to verbalize that to the people in your life. Because if my boyfriend comes home, and this is an example of what might happen if we didn't have human design. He comes home from work and I'm in a low, and I don't necessarily tell him anything. I don't tell him about how I'm feeling. I'm just feeling low. He feels it. He feels the tension in the air. He feels that something's not quite right, but no one's talking about it. So, he might ask me, what's wrong? What's the matter? And if I don't know what's wrong or what's the matter because I'm just in a low and nothing's wrong or is the matter, I began judging. I began trying to figure it out. And the longer, that happens, the more frustrated I get. And I don't know. I'm just upset. Right. And then he gets upset. Like maybe he did something wrong, and there just becomes this like snowball of miscommunication where people, feel like it's their responsibility to cater to the emotional frequency of others, and people who have this open emotional center tend to be, if you're unconscious of it, people pleasers or people who do walk on eggshells around the emotional authority people in your life. So for us to maintain a healthy relationship, it's really important for me to verbalize where I am, if I'm high, if I'm low, and especially the lows, right? Because the lows are the ones where the people in your life feel like, oh my God, did I do something wrong? Or what can I do to fix this? And a lot of times, open people, if this is you and you have an open, emotional center, there's not always something wrong. And so instead of asking what's wrong or what's the matter, maybe ask, how can I support you right now? Or is there anything I can do for you right now? And if there's not, and only ask if you genuinely want to do it. Okay. And because my boyfriend has this strong gut feeling, he can ask himself, do I really want to do this right now? Or am I just doing it because I want to make her feel better, or want to make her feel more comfortable? Because that's not a genuine place of taking action, right? Over time, that could lead to resentment, bitterness, and frustration between the two of us if he's just catering to my needs because he feels like he has to, not because he wants to. Right? See how this starts going? So this is really, really important. This has hugely impacted the way that we interact and the way that we communicate. In 2 years, we've never truly had a big argument. We've never truly had a huge misunderstanding because we're constantly keeping that window or that door of communication open. Constantly letting him know where I'm at. And of course, letting him know that there's nothing, there's nothing to fix. There's nothing to do. There's nothing to prove. Hey, everybody. Happy Saturday. So good to see you guys here. So just constantly, letting him know whether, if I am upset about something, sometimes, as an emotional authority, I have emotional reactions to the things in my environment because that is how I perceive the world, is through this like veil of emotion. Which if you're an emotional authority, the understanding and practice of NLP is huge. Just taking that, the truth of your feelings away from things, but I digress. So it's really just about understanding where you are, understanding who you are, and where you are on that, wave if you're an emotional authority, so that you can keep the line of communication open in your relationships and let them know, hey, there's nothing that you can do right now. I'm just in a low. I just need to rest. If you want to hang out with me and pet my hair and watch Netflix, that's cool. If you feel more comfortable sitting in the other room so that you can, relax after work and not be in this heavy energy, that's also up to you. And for the emotional authority people who are watching, it's not up to us to shrink down or to silence our feelings, manage them in a responsible adult way. All right. I don't give you permission to have temper tantrums all the time, or to, constantly be wallowing because you're an emotional authority. If that's the way that life is, you need some extra support. That's not how the emotional authority life is supposed to be. However, if I'm in a low, I'm going to honor it. I'm not going to act like I'm not in a low or pretend like my energy is higher in order to make the open people in my life more comfortable either. You understand, right? So this is both. This is him allowing me to have my feelings, while at the same time, I'm allowing him to not be responsible for my feelings, responsible for fixing my feelings, or, taking it personally if he needs a little bit of space away from the heaviness of my feelings. Okay. So this is a really huge way, I'm literally writing a book on the emotional authority and, the interactions in your relationships, but this is one of the bigger questions that I do get. Now, something else that I wanted to acknowledge, and this is partly for me as an emotional authority and him being open, but just partly recognizing our strengths, in our different designs. I have a lot of physical energy. You can see, I'm a manifesting generator, but you can see that I have all of these centers defined. And not only are they all defined, but I'm a single definition, which just means that you see all the little lines in between. All my channels are, all my centers are connected, right, by one long line. Okay. And, so what that means basically, right, if you don't know human design, is that I have a lot of energy. Okay. I have a lot of creative force. So now if we get into the nitty gritty of my design, I have more mental energy than physical energy. And I have a lot of like strengths as a 3-5. I've gathered a lot of skills. I've gathered a lot of knowledge. So when it comes to things that my boyfriend wants to do and wants to create in the world, like, building a website or starting a new Instagram for his real estate business, or, things of that nature, I handle that because I have a lot of mental stamina to maintain these things. And I've gained the skill sets as a 3-5. I've just done a lot of experimenting, and I've gained a lot of skills in a lot of different areas that allows me to help him in this way, so that he doesn't have to learn all of this himself or hire someone else to do it. I can manage it for him. Now, on the flip side, as an emotional authority, I don't make the best decisions right away. I don't make great immediate decisions. And so, typically for me to make good decisions, I have to sleep on things. Now, when it comes to micro decisions of your life, and this is one of the life hacks I give emotional authorities, is just to minimize them as much as possible. Things like, what am I going to wear today, right? If your wardrobe is color blocked, or if you have like a capsule wardrobe, or, you've got just like a few items for spring, a few items for summer, etc., that will give you more creative space to make decisions in your life. Now, something that I like to do, and just a quick example of this is I don't really love to make decisions about what we're going to eat. If you ask me what I want, I don't care. I really don't care. Unless I have a craving for something. Emotional authorities, lift your hands up. You know what I'm talking about. Unless you have a craving, I don't care. Just put it in front of me for the most part, right? And so my boyfriend, he has this strong gut feeling. So I don't ask him, what do we want for dinner? I ask him, do you want to stay home or go out? And he's got that gut feeling where he can see like which one is a yes. Okay. So we just bounce it off of him. Do you want to stay in or go out? Oh, you want to go out? Okay. Do you want to sit down, or do you want to, eat at a diner, right? Do you want to, go to a nice place, or do you want to, right, casual? And so we use his sacral to figure out what it is that we're doing. And oftentimes I just allow him to make the decisions for me entirely, so that this doesn't even take up any space in my brain at all. So when we go out to the restaurant, sometimes like he'll even pick what I'm eating because he knows me well enough, and I eat pretty much anything anyway. So with that said, right, we're leaning into each other's strengths so that he can, use that gut feeling to make the decisions that are just kind of sucking my energy. And so that I can use all of the skill sets that I've gained and all of the mental energy that I have to build things that he doesn't necessarily have the physical or mental creative space to build. And also things, he's got this wide open emotional center. Man, he's going to have the hardest time building a website because he's going to be a perfectionist about it, right? And so if I just get in there and get it done, he's going to be able to save so much time, so much energy, emotional, physical, mental, right? And so we're just allowing each other to lean into our own strengths and not expecting each other to like be a match. Do you get what I'm saying? Like we match each other just in different ways, okay? And so then finally, some things that I've been sort of highlighting throughout this live so far is just telling you a little bit about how things could go if we didn't have human design. Like I said at the beginning, I was talking to a friend of mine today about just how important this information really can be, and how it, I'm not over inflating it. Like human design, the knowledge and understanding of your human design and the designs of the people in your life, it can save marriages. It can, rehabilitate, relationships with your own parents, with your children. Okay. Not just keeping families together, but also creating common understanding. I use human design with my daughter's father, and we co-parent so much more peacefully because we understand each other, or at least I understand him very well. And, we can create plans about how to foster, our daughter's best self through, the recognition of her human design. So I hope that this has helped a little bit, that you can see how you can apply human design to your real life, and that this isn't just information to know, right? This is something you can use, and it's something that can truly impact not just, your day-to-day life, not just, how you show up on the internet, but literally every single moment of your life, all of your relationships, right? And, aren't your relationships, isn't family the most important thing? So that's why I teach human design. That's my passion. That's what's on my heart. And it's a joy to be able to share it with you today. So thank you so much for stopping by. Today is the last day to join my human design membership program, the Penta, for the pre-sale bonus, right? So you get a 3-page energy report going over the most important details of your human design when you sign up today. You can still sign up tomorrow. You just won't get the bonus energy report if you do so. So the link to that is in the description. If you have any questions about that, you can feel free to pop into my DMs. I'll be around today. So I hope that you have a great Saturday. Love you all so much. Bye, y'all.